already seen him, and she thinks he's the best of the bunch, but she wants to know what you think.
Yeah, well, look, let me get washed up and have something to eat and a cup of coffee. Say my office, what, in 10 minutes?
What have you been doing to yourself?
I've been trying to change the fan belt on the car, and the spare I've got's the wrong size.
What do you want in your sandwich?
Oh, beef, smoked salmon, anything. Look, would you be an angel? Give Mac a ring at the garage and ask him if he can pick up my car. It's on the corner of Castlewich, Broadway. And ask him to do it as soon as possible and tell him it's the fan belt, will you?
OK, fine.
Wouldn't mind that foreign sports job Nobby's working on, would you?
Throw in a fairy godmother to pay for the insurance and the petrol, and I wouldn't say no either.
Oh, I'll get it.
Good.
You're just an old married man, you.
Then I know it.
Garage.
Oh, Vera.
Yeah.
Oh, good, I'm glad I found you. Gosh, I'm puffed. It's spotting with rain
And so you ran. You really ought to know better.
Don't you dare say it, your age.
OK, Mrs. Hunter, we'll tell him. Bye.
Look, you want to take a seat and catch your breath back?
No, I won't stop. No, I've just got a message from Doris. She said not to wait for her. She didn't want to lift home tonight. She's working late.
Yeah, so are you.
What's this?
Mr. Chance's car broke down on Castlewich Broadway. He thinks it's a fan belt, so will you take a spare one?
What's wrong with this?
It was the wrong size. Shame he didn't have one of his girlfriends with him. He could have used her tights.
Sugar, and I've got the evening planned as well, too.
How long do you think you'll be?
Oh, 45 minutes or so.
Oh, well, I'll stay on here.
No, you can push off home.
Well, something might crop up.
No, suit yourself anyway, but don't put it in the overtime sheet.
Just call it a labour of love.
Oh, Mac, I was just thinking, I should be finishing me and Glenda about 7. As you've got to come back here. Any chance of a lift? I mean, not if there's any trouble, of course.
No problem at all. I'll see you then.
Don't forget the fan belt.
No.
Well, I better be going. Otherwise, they'll be sending out a search party.
Must be nice to feel needed.
Well, you've seen the restaurant. What do you think?
I was very impressed, Mrs. Hunter. Good decor, well appointed. Yes. But tell me, do you have a head waiter at the moment?
No.
No, I didn't think so. Only I didn't want to criticize another man behind his back.
What makes you think that we didn't have a head waiter?
Oh, well, small things, really. This afternoon, between lunch and dinner, I saw 2 waitresses chatting in the corner of the restaurant. Now, if they weren't working there, they shouldn't be there. If I was head waiter, I wouldn't allow that.
Yes, but you couldn't be on duty for 24 hours a day.
No, but my influence could. And if I may say with respect, your wine cellar isn't all that it should be. As I came in this evening, I saw a waitress opening a bottle of wine like she was opening an oyster. Do you have anyone responsible for inspecting hands and uniforms before staff come on duty?
You make the place sound like a health hazard.
Oh, no, not at all. It's a very fine restaurant. I'm only just trying to point out where there are obvious and immediate areas for improvement.
I see you at the Wellington for 18 months. Now, that has quite a good reputation. Why did you leave?
I resigned. Clash of personalities.
Took a while for that to develop, didn't it?
Well, no, not really, Mrs. Hunter. The hotel brought in a new director of operations, as they called him, and he and I disagreed about staff and...
So... In what way?
Well, about quality and discipline. I suppose the two things are synonymous. Perhaps my standards are too high.
Well, that's a good fault. I see you were in London for a while.
Yes.
Also for, what, 18 months?
Yes, I enjoyed my time there very much, but, well...
Another clash of personalities?
No, it's just that I wasn't really appreciated there. When I joined the hotel, the place was in a pretty poor state for an establishment of that reputation, and it took me quite a time to get it up to scratch. And 1 or 2 of the staff, well, more really, didn't like my efforts, so they spread rumours about me to undermine my position with the management.
What sort of rumours?
Oh, well, that I was picking on people, criticising.
And then you came to Birmingham and you worked at the...
Yes, that was a mistake on my part. I'm afraid the staff were undisciplined, slack.
Well, I've dined there a couple of times. I found the service very good.
Well, to the diners may be, but the trouble was behind the scenes. For example, some of the waiters were keeping back the tips and not putting them on the trunk. Well, when I complained, I couldn't prove it to the management to their satisfaction, although I was perfectly satisfied. But when I persisted, some of the staff tried to cause trouble for me with the management. They wouldn't back me up, so of course, I left.
Yes, well, I don't think there's anything more I wish to ask. Barbara?
Yes, I think you've let us know what we need to know.
You appreciate that we have other applicants to see, but we'll be able to give you a definite answer within the next few days.
Right, well, thank you very much for seeing me. Mrs. Hunter?
Thank you.
Mr. Charles?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
I wonder what his poached eggs are like.
Oh, it's you. I saw the light on, thought Mac must still be here.
No, he's out on a breakdown.
Yeah, and why aren't you long gone?
I like it here.
No accounting for taste.
Oh, come on, Doris. What are you doing working this evening?
Eh?
I seem to remember it was supposed to be your evening off.
Well, they were busy in the kitchen. An extra pair of hands didn't come amiss.
Mac? Oh, here! You ready? Oh, hello, Doris. Wondered where you got to.
Just collecting a few mugs.
Anything to keep out of his way?
Now then, Glenda, don't start that again. If Doris doesn't want to spend the evening with Mr. Logan, well, that's her affair.
Such a shame. And it's such a waste. The poor man's over there now on his own. You could have had a meal with him, had a chat.
I'm working.
Only 'cause you volunteered. I don't understand you, Miss Luke. Any other woman would be only... She's not just any other woman, though, is she?
All right, Carole.
Well...
Are you ready to leave, Rashida? It's already well after 7 o'clock.
It's only a few minutes after, Father. The evening receptionist will be here any moment.
In that case, I will wait here for a little while.
Oh, lovely, thanks.
Will you reserve a table in the restaurant for me for 8 o'clock, please?
Yes, of course, sir. For one person?
Yes.
And your name, sir?
Pollard. J. Henry Pollard.
Mr. J. Henry Pollard. Thank you very much, sir. Father, that was Mr. J. Henry Pollard. He's just booked a table for dinner.
I must arrange to meet him. You know, casually, like two English people in their club. I shall return here after I dropped you at home. Speak to him after he's dined and is in a good mood. It would be most interesting encounter. Indeed, most interesting.
Father?
Hello, Mrs. Hunter.
Hello.
Do you work round the clock like everyone else in this place? You've been on duty since breakfast time.
Not really, it just seems that way. No, I've had actually a couple of breaks, quite long ones.
Yeah. We haven't had time for a drink yet.
No, got at least a week. Plenty of time.
She told me off, you know. About my clothes.
Oh, yes.
Now, look, can you see anything wrong with them?
Well, they're all right for a Sunday mass in a small French village.
Right. I've never bothered, you see. But first thing in the morning, I'm into Birmingham. You won't know me when I get back.
Well, there's no need to go mad. Look, she'll be out in a minute. Do you want a bit of advice?
I'd welcome it.
Don't let her see you hovering around. Go into the bar. I'll send her in.
Send her?
Well, tactfully suggested then.
Might be worth a try.
Good night, Mrs. Hunter.
Oh, Doris.
Yeah?
I know it's none of my business, and I know you want to go straight home, but he's in the bar.
Still waiting, is he? Must be all that army training. Nil desperandum.
Hello, Doris. Well, sit down.
I don't know who's making a bigger fool of themselves, you or me.
Well, you're the one who's blowing hot and cold. One minute you're laughing and joking about the old days. Then you go off and I don't see you for hours.
I've been working.
I heard about that. 1 volunteer's worth 10 pressed men.
Oh, now who told you that? Oh, never mind. It could be one of a dozen people with quite common gossip, you know. I wish they'd leave us alone. They're making far too much of it.
What would you like to drink?
Oh, I don't know that I'm bothered.
Oh, come on, just want to keep me company. You'd enjoy a drink, end of the day.
All right, then. Thanks. I'll just have a bit of lemon.
Young man, a bit of lemon and another one of these, please. And one for yourself.
Oh, you like throwing your money about, don't you?
Well, it's years since I've been able to do anything like that. I worked hard for the money I got put by. Now I'm going to make the best of it.
I still think staying here is an unnecessary expense.
You're sure it's the money you're worrying about? Not me being here on the spot?
Well, it does make things a bit awkward. People putting 2 and 2 together and making 5.
I can see it worries you. I'm sorry.
Doesn't it embarrass you?
No. Said so earlier, didn't I? It's human nature. If they weren't talking about us, they'd be talking about somebody else.
It's daft at our age.
You sure you haven't changed your mind again? I'm unpacked now. Thanks, lad.
Why don't you let me find you something in the village? There's plenty of people do bed and breakfast at this time of year. And you could always come back here for the occasional meal.
The trouble is, I've paid in advance now.
For the whole week?
Aye.
In cash?
I never deal in anything else.
They must think you're wanting.
You're right about the prices. Very salty. You know, looking back, I was thinking we could have had 4 weeks' holiday on the Isle of Man. For half that money, the pair of us.
That's something I've always wanted. Holiday in the Isle of Man. A proper holiday, I mean, with full board. Whatever made you think of that?
I was remembering that day trip we took to Douglas.
That's what started me off. I'd no idea it was such a pretty place.
Thought it was all motorbikes and fun fairs myself. That coach trip into the countryside, that were a real eye-opener.
Aye, it was lovely. One of the best days I remember. Well, that was very nice. Now I'd best be going.
But you've only been here 2 minutes.
Well, I'll have to rush to catch my bus. I'm late as it is.
I'll walk you home. Won't be the first time.
No, not tonight. I'd rather go alone. I'll see you tomorrow.
What have I said now?
Nothing.
Well, then.
You can't rush these things, Tom. It's been 40 years. 40 years.
Excuse me, please. May I sit here? May I offer you something, my dear sir? Coffee or perhaps another brandy?
No, thank you.
Orange juice for me, please. Ah, I see you are reading the Wall Street Journal. This is the newspaper with the largest circulation in America, I believe.
Really?
I read Financial Times, Investors Chronicle, Economist, and most of the English financial papers.
So do I, when I get the chance.
Tell me, sir, for someone whose business interests are in this country and Asia, would you say the Wall Street Journal require reading?
No, it is for me, though.
I imagine it would be for a gentleman of your connection, Mr. Pollard.
So you know me.
Who in the world of finance and commerce does not know Mr. J. Henry Pollard? Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Arif Malik.
How do you do?
Oh, Mr. Pollard, do not say that you know me.
I know all my possible rivals in any deal, Mr. Malik. No matter how large or small the deal is.
How very astute of you, Mr. Pollard, if I may say so. But no less than one would expect from a gentleman of your reputation. One does not achieve your success without overlooking details. You are no Goliath who will take David lightly.
I wouldn't lose much sleep over him either. That was 3,000 years ago. And I'm inclined to the philosophy that ever since, God has been on the side of the big battalions.
What an education it is for me to listen to you, Mr. Pollard.
Yes, but it's nice of you to say so. In which case, perhaps you'll allow me to give you a little advice.
Oh, I beg you. Please do not let your natural reticence stop you. I would be honored.
Well, it's this. Don't waste your time. As a matter of fact, I don't really much care if you do waste your time, but I prefer you not to waste mine.
Oh, Mr. Pollard, you are too subtle for my comprehension. How could I possibly be wasting my time and yours?
Trying to buy the Motel share issue. They'll sell to me.
Oh, really? You think it is foregone conclusion, do you?
Exactly.
David and Goliath all over again.
You seem to be having a very interesting conversation.
Oh, good evening, Mrs. Hunter. Mr. Pollard has some fascinating things to tell me.
Well, I actually meant interesting to everyone around you. A couple of minutes, you'll be able to sell tickets. Don't you think it would be better to continue it in the office, privately?
That sounds a capital idea.
I don't see that there's anything to discuss.
Well, you seem to be managing to make a production out of it. Oh, please, J. Henry, let's have a quiet chat in the office, as a favour to me.
That, if I may say so, was a brazen attempt to take advantage of your sex.
So you'll come then?
Yes, I will.
After you, Mr. Pollard.
Yes, Jill, when the restaurant closes, what, in about an hour and a half?
Adam,
Oh, hang on, I'll call you back.
Mr. Malik and J. Henry were having this discussion in the bar, and I really felt that it was better if we settled it here in the office.
But there is nothing to settle. You, I mean the board as a whole, have accepted in principle that I have a prior right to take up the share issue. And you voted at a formal board meeting to accept my offer and reject Mr. Malik's.
What is going on?
Yes, that is more or less so. But further developments have taken place since then. Mr. Malik's offer to match.
Even to improve upon.
Even to improve upon any bid that you make.
I have been through all this before. Now, you know what my answer is, and that concludes the matter.
Oh, no. Not quite, Mr. Pollard. If you make any attempt to sell the new share issue to Mr. Pollard, I will have no option but to sue you. I made a verbal offer at a certain price. You made a verbal acceptance at that price. Now, that is a contract, is it not? My dear Mr. Pollard, if I were you, I would be perhaps less anxious to put my money into a company with a heavy legal proceeding hangover, sir. I'm awfully sorry to cause these difficulties to the motel, but you leave me no option at all. Mrs. Hunter, Mr. Jones, Mr. Pollard, good night.
That's all we need. An expensive legal action.
Surely he can't be stupid enough to think that would frighten me off. If he wants trouble, he can have it. Lots of it.